What's up, YouTube? It's Ryan from AnnihilatorMTG here, and we're back with some more Modern. The list that I'm going to be going with today is an old favorite of mine, Golgari Infect. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Black Splash and Infect, honestly, it's very similar to what you would expect from a Simic version of the build, but we're a little bit more proactive. So, we have a full playset of Thoughtseize, which is just phenomenal. I love playing with this card. We've got 2 Abrupt Decay, 2 Assassin's Trophies, and a full playset of Brutalities. The rest of the deck is exactly what you would expect from a standard version of Infect. As for the sideboard, we have our full playset of Veil of Summer, full playset of Spellbomb, 2 Weather the Storm, 2 Spellskite, 2 Dismember, and a Bantu's Last Reckoning. Honestly, I'm very excited to play this list again, so let's hop straight into the queue and see if we can win our matches. Alrighty, looks like we found our opponent, and this hand is not exactly great, so we're going to mulligan. Okay, well, this is definitely serviceable in comparison. I think... what will we ship? I guess the Blooming Marsh? Yeah, because the Pendelhaven serves a purpose, the Catacombs fuels the graveyard, the Peatland we can turn into a draw spell, the Inkmoth Nexus is just a threat. So we'll go with this for now. Let's see what our opponent's playing. Well, Misty Rainforest, I can't really say I'm surprised about seeing that card. And we get a Might of Volcrosa. Okay, so we'll play the Verdant Catacombs, and we'll crack it, intending to get an Overgrown 2. We'll hit yes. Alright, then we'll play the Thoughtseize and see what our opponent's playing. Oh boy, what have we here? Little blue-white control. Alright. Well, that's not phenomenal. That's not exactly what I wanted to see. Let's see here. What do we do? Guess we'll just take the path. That's rather tragic. I would kind of want to take the either the Jace in normal circumstances, not obviously with this deck, but just in general, or like even the Mana Leak could potentially be annoying. So, well, this isn't the best thing ever, let's put it that way. Alright, they'll keep that held up, that's annoying. Ooh, interesting. Let's play the Noble without playing a land first, so they kind of feel like, oh, we're catching them off guard. Will they Mana Leak? They will not. Okay. Alright, we'll play the Inkmoth, and we'll just pass then. So we have something on the board. Alright, they play a Flooded Strand. So they still have a Jace, a Path, a Mana Leak, and I believe 2 unknowns. Okay. Second Might of Volcrosa, that's pretty nice. That is pretty nice indeed. Alright, so let's get this show on the road here. Let's try to bait out the Path for now. We'll Pendelhaven, seemingly put all of our eggs in one basket. We'll swing in, get the Exalted trigger. Alright, no problem. So the good thing about that, honestly speaking, is giving us that extra land is making us cracking the Peatland a lot less of a factor, just because they're ramping us. We don't have to worry about losing a land. We already have more than enough, and, you know, if we can go from here, then we'll be all right. So they're not playing the Jace, which is interesting. Very interesting indeed. Ooh, that's nice. All right, so let's hit them with the Thoughtseize, see if they expect this. They do not. They could have Cryptic Commanded. That seems like a massive error on their part. Well, what do we do here? This whole thing is just awful because no matter what we take, we're just in a absolute ton of trouble here. Like, with a hand like this, I'm almost inclined to be like, whatever, let's just go to the next game. You know what I mean? And just see what happens. But I think I'll take the Jace. All right. I'm just going to attack with the Noble. See if they try to get cute with the Snapcaster Mage. They do not. All right, we'll pass. I don't want to validate either their Mana Leak or their Cryptic, so I wasn't going to play my Plague Stinger. Still nothing. So we've got an unknown Snap, Cryptic, Mana Leak. Let's crack this. Got another Infect creature. That's not bad. And another. All right. So let's play the Glistener Elf. All right, that resolves. Not bad. We will swing in with this Noble Hierarch. Get an Exalted trigger. Okay. Opponent's paying costs. Yep. All right. Very interesting. They get a Path. This is odd. All right. Let's pump it. Oh, they're just going to get the Glistener Elf. All right. Well, sure. At that point, why not? All right. So there goes their Snapcaster, which I'm pretty darn happy with. And now we have a replacement Glistener Elf. Good stuff. All right, I'm fine with that. We're going to hard pass here. Looks like our opponent is not drawing lands, which means they're drawing spells, and that's not great. Okay, so we'll move on to attacks. We'll swing with the Glistener Elf. Ah, I forgot I yielded to that. That's my bad. I should have not yielded to that if we're playing Pendelhaven. That is a pretty big mistake on my part. I still think I'm just going to pass here. because I don't want them countering the Plague Stinger at the current moment. If we can play that while they're tapped out, that might be pretty darn good, I'd say. Omen of the Sea. All right. They crack their Flooded Strand. They get a basic island. Well, let's see what you got, opponent. They play a land. Well, we need to get this show on the road here. Hand attack, something, you know, just something to guess there. All right, let's see what we draw. Scale up. Well, they have Cryptic. I guess if we scale up, they'll counter draw very likely. Or, let's see. Well, let's just give it a go. Let's, well, I guess Might of Cross is probably better here. So let's cast this right here. All right, good enough for me. We go to attack. Will they tap draw? What will they do? They crack their Flooded Strand. Mystic Sanctuary. That's annoying. As per usual, that card is never fun to play against, pretty much ever. Tap draw, so they get their path. Well, we got a window. Play the Plague Stinger. Now they have to choose which one to path and which one not to. They choose the Glistener Elf. We have no more lands. No more basics anyways. All right, so we live to see another day. Our opponent is down a Cryptic, down a path. Hopefully they're going to stall out here. A Field of Ruin. Goodbye, Pendelhaven. All right. No lands. Forced to shuffle is what it is. And they've got a very clean-looking 4 mana open, which very well could be a Cryptic command. So let's just take the opportunity to give it a shot. We'll scale up. Will our opponent counter? Mana Leak won't do it. Granted, this won't kill, but they play a Logic Knot. How interesting. I will not pay for that. Okay, well, we'll swing in. We'll hit him for 2. All right. Well, any +4/+4 effect kills from here on out, but I don't think our opponent is really going to let us do that. Although maybe just attacking in and in and in is all it takes. But then again, they do have a fetch that they can get a Mystic Sanctuary with, so that's not phenomenal. Become Immense. Well, that's nice. This might be our window. We swing into attack. Exalted Trigger happens. Opponent no blocks. Become Immense. Target it, exile a bunch of stuff, holding up mana for a potential mana leak. I think they have a mana leak in hand, so that won't do it. Do they have removal? And they don't. Wow, holy cow. I am shocked that that worked. All right, so we'll put in the Veils here. I think, let's see. Mutagenic Growths are probably suboptimal in a matchup like this. I could be wrong. Spell Skites are probably also pretty darn good here. What do we get rid of? Maybe the trophies? And just keep the Abrupt Decays? Yeah, sure. Let's give it a shot. All right, game number 2 here, and our hand is just not great. That's frustrating. We mulligan, 2 Veil of Summers, and an Elf. I mean, why not? Let's ship the basic for obvious reasons. We're going to want to be able to search for that when our opponent hits us with, like, a path or something. Okay. Nice. Might of Crosa. So let's Verdant Catacombs here, and we'll get an Overgrown Tomb. We'll play an Elf, and we'll pass. See if they get a Hollowed Fountain and path us. That would be very annoying to start that early, but it is what it is. Okay, that seems to be very much the case. All right, so we get a basic forest. Well, now we've got plenty of mana to hold up Veil of Summer. We just need to find another source for Infect. They get a Field of Ruin, that's annoying. Well, speak of the devil. All right, so we play Glistener Elf. Hopefully they are low on paths, because we can deal with blue. We can't necessarily deal with their removal. Aether Gust. Veil of Summer. Beautiful. You'll love to see it. Okay. Scale up. Good stuff. Well, we might have something here, to be honest with you. We might have just the right collection of cards to get us there. And I, for one, am thrilled for that. So, let's play the Pendelhaven. Let's play the Might. Dispel. Do we care about the Dispel? Alright, so if that happens, we can pump it with a Pendelhaven. It becomes a 2/2. That doesn't help with the scale up. I guess we should have led with the scale up. That's kind of annoying. That's fine. Let's, sure. Yeah, that was probably a mistake. It just becomes a 6/4, so this is a bit of a non-bow with Pendelhaven. I have not played Infect since Scale Up was printed. Not that that's necessarily an excuse on my part. It's not. I should know better, so I probably should have led with that. However, we're in a moderately okay position here. We still have a Veil to hold up, which is not bad. All right, and we have plenty of other pump spells to draw, plus just the natural Pendelhaven shenanigans. Then again, they have a Field of Ruin, so that's a bit obnoxious. More than a bit, but, you know. Honestly, they should, if they're going to field it, they should do it right now, because we can just pump it in response. There's a scale up. Well, that works. Okay, so let's play this as smart as possible here. Let's Pendelhaven. See if they waste mana on the field, which they wouldn't. Okay, that's fine. So then let's scale up. I know the Pendelhaven in this instance was basically functionally useless, but I was just seeing if it would cause them to do something. They opt. Okay, no problem. They crack the Flooded Strand. Okay. Nice. We play Veil of Summer. Oh, that feels good. Will it get forced? And it doesn't. Okay. I'm going to be honest, I did not expect to win against blue-white control, just at all. So I'm pretty giddy right now. On to the next one. Good stuff. All right, looks like we found our opponent. Best of luck to you, my friend. And this hand seems to be a keeper. Got some redundancy in our Infect creatures, which is always good. Plus, we have the Ink Moth, which is just phenomenal. The only thing I could really ask for at this point is either more Pump or a Thoughtseize. Both, but, you know. Our opponent goes down to 5. That's interesting. Rather tragic. Ooh, Tron. This should be fun. If we can't beat Tron, then I suppose we're just not very good, because, to my knowledge, this archetype is supposed to absolutely demolish Tron. Just completely. Alright. We'll hard pass here, see what our opponent gets. Basic land. That's always good to see. Looks like they're going to crack their map. Or a Ballista. Nice. Oh, I should... Holy smokes. Well, that's what you get when you hard pass. You should learn to not do that. I did not expect main board walking Ballistas, so that's all right. So what will we do here? We will play an Ink Moth and then a Plague Stinger. All right. So we're slowed down a bit here, and that was completely foolish on my part. Probably should have mutagenic growth in response. That was just very dumb, but it is what it is. I suppose there might be an argument about just letting it happen, to be honest, since we already had, like, the replacement. So maybe. Let's just, yeah, let's just pretend that was totally intentional. Love this power plant art, by the way. Super cool. All right, so here we go. Let's play a Blooming Marsh. Let's jam a Noble. See if we can do this. Let's scale up. All right, we swing in, we get a pump. And I guess the question is do we pump now or just use it as a defense tool and then just pump the next turn? Yeah, I guess we can just let it fly. Because we're not going to, I mean, the difference between 7 and 9 Infect is so, like, not super relevant. It's sort of like the old adage that, like, life total isn't a score. It's just, like, a resource. A little less so with Infect, because there's not very instances in which you just pay for, you know, giving yourself Infect. That's just odd. But if they're not at 10, then it's basically not very different. So we'll get a basic forest here. What will they do? They play an O-Stone. All right, we're good. So that ridiculous hiccup aside, let's see, what do we do here? Let's Peatland, then let's Brutality just to look at what they have, if they have anything odd. Worm Coil, it's not exactly odd. All right, we'll Mutagenic Growth, we'll pay the 2. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. All right, let's take a look. I assume these brutalities are just not really where you want to be. I like the spell skites. I almost just like the dismembers in a way. That's fine. All right, we'll run it like this. All right, game number 2 here. We have an Infect creature in the Ink Moth Nexus. We've got a little bit of hand attack and an Assassin's Trophy. I must say, going up against Tron, knowing that I have this, I'm hard-pressed to ship it. I think this is more than enough. Let's see how our opponent mulligans. They go down to 5. That's always good to see. All right, so they play a tower and a Chromatic Sphere. All right, Might of Old Krosa. That's good news. Let's see here. Yeah, that's not lethal next turn, so we'll definitely go with the Thoughtseize because it's just dead after this turn, basically. At least that's how I see it. All right, so they got a map and a Stirrings. So we'll take the map, take the guaranteed Tron piece. So they got a Sanctum and a Stirrings. It's not the most compelling group of cards. They get a Power Plant. That's not bad, though. All right, Mutagenic Growth. That's pretty relevant. So we'll play the Ink Moth Nexus. All right, and we'll pass. Next turn, we'll be able to animate, pump it up, get in for 5, and then just rinse and repeat afterwards. Hopefully our opponent didn't draw super clean. We got a Ghost Quarter. Interesting. That's a touch annoying. Wish we had a Blossoming Defense. That would be very good, because then we could animate and protect it. We cannot, though. So it looks like things are going to be a little bit different here. We're going to get our Swamp, only basic left. Then, since we're here, let's Assassin's Trophy getting the tower. They're probably not thrilled about that, I can imagine. And a replacement Ink Moth Nexus. Well, geez, couldn't have wrote it better myself. All right, so we'll hard pass. See if our opponent has another Ghost Quarter. They play a Sanctum and an O-Stone. All right, don't think that's going to matter in the grand scheme of things. Become immense. That's pretty good. All right, so let's do some math here. I think we're fine, like pretty much guaranteed. All right, so we'll animate. Then we scale up. Yeah, we're fine. Let's just do scale up, Crosa, mutagenic growth for fun, and don't even really need the become immense. All right, we swing in, and looks like that'll be that. Good stuff. All right, we found our opponent here and won the die roll. Best of luck to you, my friend. Okay, yeah, we can keep this for sure. We've got an Infect creature, we've got a Noble Hierarch, we've got some lands, some pump. Yeah, if you say no to this, then, well... Alright, so let's play the Verdant Catacombs, and I think I just want to get an Overgrown Tomb, even though we already have one. We'll shock, play the Hierarch, and we'll go from there. Alright, let's see what our opponent's playing. Temple Garden, alright. Tapped. I'm in. Sounds good to me. Alright, we've got a lot of choice here, which is pretty cool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap the Noble Hierarch, going to play the Plague Stinger, and now we get to hold up Blossoming Defense, and we've got 2 of them. So I totally don't mind using one to protect our Infect creature. I'm pretty thrilled with what we have here. If we top deck like a Might of Old Crosa, then we're just going to be absolutely giddy. Alright, our opponent plays a basic Plains. That's pretty interesting. A Walking Ballista. Alright, sure. Let's see. Let's just play one of the mutagenic growths. I commend my opponent for trying, but that's not going to work today. Alright, Thoughtseize. I don't hate it. Probably going to be a little confused, but I suppose the green-black kind of gives it away. Alright, Ranger Captain, a Spike Feeder, which we don't care about, an Eladamri's Call, and a Devoted Druid. I guess we can... I kind of want to get rid of the Ranger Captain, to be honest. I mean, they can get another Ballista, which I guess is significant, but this can make, this can just turn off. Yeah, I think I'll just take the Ranger Captain. All right, let's see here. Let's pump it up, and I'll take the damage. Then that'll go to 4 with the Exalted. All right, I think I'm just going to hold up the Blossoming Defense. On the off chance our opponent does something nutty, we have more than enough mana to cast whatever we want next turn. So I don't think we should just get aggressive just yet. Alright, our opponent, I assume, is going to tutor. I will just hardcast the Druid. That works. Alright, well, play to your outs, I suppose. I guess they can call next turn and then get the Vizier and then have infinite mana and just do the Spike Feeder thing, I guess. But I don't think that's really going to do anything. Yeah, I'm not too threatened by this. Maybe that's arrogant on my part, but, well, that's certainly helpful. All right, pump it up. Looks like we got this one in the bag. Okay, and we have 2 different ways to protect it. And they see it. All right, so... let's see here. I guess Dismembers are definitely in. Bantu's is probably okay. Spellskite's pretty good. But what do we not want? That's the question. Let's see. Let's trim on a Become Immense. We could probably trim 2 growths, and then what else? Maybe 2 hierarchs. Yeah, why not? I'm kind of unsure of what to do, so just a little bit of everything is probably fine. All right, so let's run it back and see if we can do that again. All right, so we have an Infect creature and our only 2 nobles. That's interesting. I think we can keep this just because we have the Brutality. We can do some nutty things with that. All right, they play a Misty. It's no problem. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get an Overgrown Tomb, and I'm just going to play the Noble. All right, they crack in response. Interesting. Yeah, I think I'm just going to play the Noble because I'm unsure of what they're going to have for us. And we don't have Pump in hand, so it's like we're not in a rush. Not in a huge one anyways. I'd prefer to win, you know, sooner rather than later, but let's not expose ourselves. All right, they play a Devoted Druid. We could definitely kill that with the Brutality and take a look at their hand, which I'm thrilled about. Hopefully hit some removal or something. Or I guess just a tutor. We can always take that from them. All right, so let's do this. 2 modes. I don't care about life total that much. Do one of these, and let's pitch. Yeah, let's pitch the fetch. See what our opponent has for us. Ooh, Winds of Abandon, a Vizier, double Spike Feeder. Okay, all right. Not too threatened by this. Not bad. Then I think, do we just play the elf? Probably, right? Yeah, let's just jam the elf. If they top deck some form of removal or like a Ballista, then I guess good for them. They've kind of earned that. All right, they play a Horizon Canopy. What will they play now? I go for the Spike Feeder. All right, let's see here. Let's play the Peatland. then let's crack it. See what we draw. Spellskite, that's tempting. All right, let's jam the Spellskite, give our elf a little bit of protection here, and then we can pass. All right, and if our opponent wants to do God knows what with their Spike Feeder, they're more than welcome to do so. We're not winning via life, so they're just going to be wasting their own play clock if they decide to do any shenanigans with that. They just play a second Spike Feeder. Looks like they're trying to get aggro here. Trying. It's probably not going to yield too much. All right, more lands. Jeez, that's ridiculous. Okay, let's play another Noble. Then we'll play that tapped. Let's see. Then I think we can just Abrupt Decay and just attack, right? Because we'll have double pump with the Exalted trigger. Yep, we'll gain some life. That's no problem. All right. I highly doubt they'll block, but who knows? Double trigger for the Hierarchs. Well, this is definitely interesting. I'm very intrigued on what our opponent's plan is. They play a forest with some cool art, I must confess. And they hit a Coco. All right. Well, let's see what they get. A Recruiter and a Vizier. Oh boy. Well, things are getting interesting here. Scale up. Not bad. Very interesting. Yeah, I guess we can... Do we even bother with this? Yeah, I think we have to go with the scale up and then force the block. I think they'll block with the Spike Feeder most likely. Yeah. I hate to waste pump like this, but we're not going to be able to get in at all if we don't have a pumped up Glistener Elf. Now, they might just triple block, which in my opinion would be absolutely insane. But yeah, who knows? Blocking with a Vizier, that's interesting. Okay, I'm fine with that. They do have the replacement Vizier, that is very relevant. Ranger Captain, that's pretty gnarly. Will they get a Walking Ballista with that? Most likely, right? But I can redirect it with Spellskite, so I'm not too threatened by that. Not as much as I could be, at the very least. Dismember, that's fun. That's very fun, actually. But we could do some fun combat tricks there. There's a chance that they triple block, in which case I have every reason to be super threatened. Sure, let's just give it a go. See what we can get out of this. All right, let's dismember it. It dies, our elf lives. All right. Is this another Coco or a 4-mana Ballista? Finale of Devastation. Okay. Getting a Devoted Druid. That makes sense. Well, they're pretty close to an infinite Walking Ballista, unfortunately. If we can top deck another removal spell, that would be grand. We did not. Yeah. So that's pretty much it there. How unfortunate. All right, let's try that one more time. I think I'm happy with what we have here. I mean, maybe since we'll be on the draw, there's something to be said about going with these mutagenic growths. I think let's trim a Bontu and an Assassin's Trophy. Yeah, let's try to get a little aggressive here. All right, game 3. Let's see if we can close it out. Glistener Elf, Noble Hierarch. We've got some pump. We have a backup Infect creature. Yeah, we can make this work for sure. All righty. Okay, now if we top deck a scale up and we don't get our Glistener Elf killed on turn 1 on our opponent's side, then we basically have this in the bag. So I'm going to play to that out. And if we don't do that, then I can just go Hierarch into Might of Old Krosa and just get in for 6 Infect instead, which isn't a terrible idea. I mean, it gets us pretty darn close. A turn 3 is just as valid as a turn 2, just, you know, not as flashy. All right, they played a Noble Hierarch of their own. Pendelhaven, interesting. Yeah, I suppose we can go Pendelhaven and then just Hierarch, pump, and just go in like this. And we'll see if they block or not. I don't think they will, but all right, this makes things a little bit easier. I'm still a touch concerned about removal, but I'm definitely not concerned about them just pulling out a random win. You know what I mean? Let's see if we get pathed. Well, maybe not. And they go for a Spike Feeder. That's very interesting. Yeah, I don't really think that that's really all that impactful, especially in this matchup. All right. We had a Thoughtseize. I'm not mad at that. All right, so let's just go for it. See what they have in hand. Interesting. Now, do I care about them getting infinite life? No, not even a little. So let's just take the Ballista. Then let's set up a higher impact turn with the Plague Stinger. And then let's pump up the Glistener Elf. And then we'll swing in, kind of force the issue. Exalted Trigger, let's see if they block. I can't imagine they will, but being at 6 Infect it makes this a lot easier, certainly. Well, let's see what our opponent comes up with. I'm a little scared of removal on the Plague Stinger because I don't want to deal with their stuff on the ground. But if they don't manage to pick up something like that, then I'm not entirely sure what their plan is to be able to just deal with all of this. Gaining infinite life is irrelevant completely. In fact, I'm shocked they didn't sideboard that out for something. Oh, okay. So they'll likely get a ballista here. All right, that's not the end of the world, but we might be able to punk our opponent out here. That's one really cool thing. For instance, they're going to hit the Plague Stinger, because if they don't, that's silly. All right, so we can attack with the Glistener Elf and just present with... yeah, I want to try that. Let's pump it up, and let's just present with 9 damage and see if they're cocky enough to let us get through. And they do not. All right. Okay, it is what it is. Good enough. And they choose to gain life. That's fine. All right, so let's play the other noble, and we'll pass. Well, I mean, honestly, I still feel like we're in a pretty good position here. They crack their Horizon Canopy. All right. I don't think they can tap out for this with the noble, because that would be just leaving themselves completely exposed. So they're likely going to lose that. If we top deck removal, then we just win. And there's a lot of removal. There's a ton of it. Glistener Elf. Well, nothing wrong with a duplicate elf. All right, so let's preserve the pump spell in our hand. There's no need to go too crazy here at the moment. We'll swing in, double trigger from the noble. What's this? They flash out a blocker. Okay. Well, I mean, we're not threatened at all by that, to be honest with you. Okay, let's see what they do. Now even a single ballista isn't enough. Crack the canopy. Second hierarch. That's interesting. Well, my idea here is I'm going to force them to block with both nobles by not choosing with Pendelhaven immediately, anyways. So let's swing in with the 2. We get no advantage from the nobles, but this forces them to have to block both of them. Because if they just block one or none, then nothing really happens. Interesting. All right. Well, let's pump. See if they get punished. Alrighty. GG's to our opponent. We managed to pull out a win against Devoted Devastation. That was pretty fun. Alright, so Golgari Infect. Honestly, I think this deck is really sweet. I feel as if it's not as fragile as the Simic version, although with the amount of powerful tools that those colors have nowadays, who knows how true that is. Either way, I think this deck is definitely worth exploring. You could probably add in something like Dark Confidant for value, although you might want to cut Become Immense. That could get rather awkward. I also think that the Lurrus package is definitely worth exploring and has a lot of potential here. I want to thank you all so much for watching and sticking around to the end of the video. It means the world to me. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay healthy out there, and have a good one.